Hi, it's Jenny from A Stamping Journey. Thanks for joining me today. Have you tried the Faux Watercolour Technique? I have just come across this technique. It's really fun. I'm going to show you how to do it. So we'll go through step by step what you'll need, how you're going to do that, and I've got another card to show you at the end. So let's get started. We'll need some thick white cardstock. I'm going to use for this one. You could use watercolor paper. Because you're going to use water, you want something a little bit thicker. I find sometimes the watercolor paper can be a little bit textured. So depending on the look that you're going for, you'll want a piece of acetate, something that is more bendable than the really stiff acetate. If you don't have this, you could use like a sheet protector, something like that with a bit of bend. You want your inks. I'm going to use Petunia Pop, Pretty in Pink, and Granny Apple Green for this card. You could use ink refills as well. And you want a clear block, so a flat surface. So I'm using a clear block. You could use a plate or a glass mat if you have it. Just something firm that you can spritz on. And you'll also want some tissue or paper towel. Let's get going. I'm just going to put some scrap paper underneath the block. Oh, and also a spritzer or a little spray bottle, something to add a little bit of water on it. So we'll grab firstly, let's stamp our image. You can choose what image that you want. I'm going to use the Thankful Garden stamp set. It's just new out. I really love these flower images. And you'll want to use Stays On ink. That's really important. Because you're adding water, you want something that won't seep when you stamp it. So just add some ink. I like to, because it's a larger stamp, I like to keep it on the table, and you can add your ink directly onto that. Give that a good press around. Sure to put the lid on your stamp pad. Now, with our clear block, we'll need to get our ink pad. I'm going to use the lighter color first, the Pretty in Pink. If you're using ink refills, you just want 1 or 2 drops on your block or your plate, but I'm just going to dab some ink onto the block. Then with your spritzer, just spritz some water onto it. You can see it beading already, but we'll just make sure which way it's spritzing. So we can just give that a little bit of a swoosh around. Now you might think it's very similar to the swooshing technique if you've tried that, and it is in a way, but I'll just go through some differences. You already stamped your image. Usually with smooshing, you create your background first. You might use one color, or you might have several colors, and you're going to place your cardstock often directly onto the wet surface. But I'm going to use your acetate, the acetate we've got, and just lightly pick up the ink. I think with this technique, it's more strategic with the way you're placing your ink. So let's just pick some of that. You don't want to put it straight down. Fold up the acetate and just pick up some ink on it. You can slush it around. If you've got too much, just drip some off. That's okay. And you can just lightly, we're going to press it on where you'd like to have the ink. Just in places around, as much as you want. Wipe that off, and then we're going to do our other one. I'll turn the block around while we get our Petunia Pop. Once again, we'll just dab some ink onto our block and carefully spray some around. You can choose whatever colour you want to use depending on what image you want, and you can play around with different colours. Once again, we're just going to roll the acetate on it. We'll drip some off. We'll just dab some off there, I think. I don't want too much on it. This is just a little bit of a accent colour we're going for this time. Just adding some ink in places. You don't have to fill the whole area. And you can just work with it to see how much you want. Just nice little splatters. If you want, we can go back and pick up some more of the lighter pink. I think that would be a nice addition. So we'll just add some more of the lighter ink up the top here. It's quite fun, and every time you do it, it's going to be different. Now you could, if you were just going to use this piece of card straight onto your card base, you could add some more ink splatters around there, but I'm going to die cut this one out. So now that we have that all clean, I'm going to clean up the block, and we want to add a green onto our leaves. So just make sure that's dry. We're going to use our granny apple green now. Of course, you can use 2 greens or whatever colour you'd like, but I'm going to just go with granny apple green. Grab our sheet again, just make sure it's dry. Oops, I didn't spritz that one. Let's just wipe that off. Don't forget to spritz. I mean, you could do it like that, but it's just going to, you want that little washed look. Let's pick up some colour. Let's dab some off. And we're going to add some splatters around. Let's pick up some more. Just rolling the sheet until you're happy with it. It's just creating a bit of a splatter. Might do a little bit more down the bottom here. And see how you feel. You can always go back, add some more, but I think that will do for now. So we'll just get this sheet out of our way. Now you can, as I said, put that straight on your card front, or I'm using the dies, the Thankful Garden dies, and I'm going to cut that out with it. But it's a good idea to let that dry first. So if you just bring the finished card in, I'll move that out of the way. So I've die cut that. I've got on the card, I've done a card mat with the Soft Waves embossing folder. It just gives you that extra texture running through it. And I love these arch dies. They're new on the online exclusives now, and they just add a nice little focal point for your sentiment with love. It's a lovely card, and as you can see, each one is different. I've gone a little bit heavier with the petunia pop there, but it adds a nice splatter. So maybe we'll cut this one out just so you can see the look of it. Not quite dry. We'll give it a bit of a shake, and we'll go cut that out so you can see the difference. So we've cut that out. Let's gently pull that. So as you can see, each one is just that little bit different. Now, another idea is you could lay this straight onto your card mat and raise up your flower just to add that extra dimension. And that would look really good on a card too. Let me show you another sample that I've made earlier. You might have seen this card in my last video. If you watch the butterfly 5 ways with the butterflies, I'll add that link to the video if you're watching on YouTube, but you can find it there too. This one I have used with the gorgeous butterflies from the mini catalogue. I have actually used watercolor paper for this one because I wanted to add that little bit extra texture to it, and I haven't cut the butterfly out. I've just created that whole background by adding some color to it, which is quite fun. What do you think? Are you going to give this technique a try? I'd love to hear it. And if you love this video, be sure to subscribe so you can catch more videos. But have a great day. Happy crafting.